coming in here aware of what happened 2 nights ago, and that still happens?
What?
Absolutely unacceptable.
No, she didn't, dude.
Absolutely
she just
unacceptable.
Cursed?
And the reckless closeout that they actually reviewed, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded? Absolutely disrespectful.
So, guys, if you guys watched my video that I put out immediately after the game, I got the fans' reactions and a Leah Boston exclusive reaction after that upgraded to a flagrant, I believe, because they initially called the foul against defenders.
Is the WNBA actually trying to protect its players? Or is there a targeted effort to dismantle the Indiana Fever from the inside out? If you watched the recent showdown against the Phoenix Mercury, you didn't just see a basketball game. You saw what many are calling a blatant display of officiating bias that has left the entire basketball world questioning the integrity of the league. It wasn't just a few missed whistles. It felt like a coordinated effort to suppress the momentum of a team that is currently carrying the league's viewership on its back. The tension in the arena was palpable, and by the time the final buzzer sounded, it was clear that something much deeper than a simple win or loss was at stake. The most jarring moment of the night didn't even involve a basketball play. It involved a fist to the throat of Caitlin Clark that somehow didn't result in an immediate ejection. We've seen players get flagged for the smallest gestures of frustration, yet here, a clear and dangerous physical altercation.
It's a long season. We got to make sure that she's healthy. As far as adjustments, like it's next player up. Ty's got to be ready to play some more minutes. Obviously Raven has to be ready. We've got to take on a little bit more collectively. I think find ways to get our bigs a little bit more involved. Specifically, we think about Mo and her ability to get some shots off the move. Get her in the two-man a little bit more.
Was treated as if it were just part of the game. It was a moment that felt like a throwback to a much more violent era of sports, one that the modern league claims to have moved past. When you see a player of her caliber being subjected to that kind of reckless contact without the protection of the officials, it sends a very specific message. It suggests that the rules aren't being applied equally, and that some players are essentially fair game for whatever the opposition wants to throw at them. But the frustration didn't stop there. In fact, it only got weirder. There's a specific safety rule in basketball designed to protect shooters, often called the landing spot rule. It's there to prevent defenders from sliding their feet under a player while they're in the air, a move that has ended many careers. During this game, the officials actually went to the monitor to review a clear instance of this happening to Clark. They watched the slow-motion footage, saw the foot come down on top of the defender's foot, and somehow, they still didn't upgrade the call. It felt like watching someone fail a test even though they had the answer key sitting right in front of them. It makes you wonder how a professional officiating crew can look at clear evidence and decide to ignore the very safety protocols they are paid to uphold. This lack of consistency reached a boiling point in the fourth quarter, where the Fever's core lineup was essentially dismantled in a matter of seconds. It started with Aaliyah Boston being hit with a flagrant foul that many felt was soft at best. Then, in a lightning-fast sequence, Kelsey Mitchell was whistled out of the game, followed immediately by a foul on Raven Johnson. It was a 1-2-3 punch that effectively stripped the Fever of their veteran presence and their scoring power during the most critical moments of the game. For those sitting in the stands, it didn't feel like a team losing its discipline. It felt like a team being systematically boxed into a corner by a whistle that only blew in one direction. The aftermath of this chaos led to a press conference that we won't be forgetting anytime soon. Stephanie White is a coach known for her poise and her ability to navigate even the toughest losses with a professional demeanor. But something changed that night. She spoke with a level of raw honesty that signaled she had reached her breaking point. She used words like egregious and dangerous to describe the way her star player was being treated. When a coach of her standing begins to question the league's consistency so publicly, you know the situation in the locker room has become dire. She isn't just
discipline. I think it was 12 free throw attempts I think there were a couple where
Yeah.
we fouled intentionally, but
They did.
yeah, I mean,
They
that's
did.
we have to have a little bit more want to.
To me, what I seen at the game sitting in the stands is that the referees simply altered the outcome of the game. They was literally calling fouls on the Fever to make sure they lose the game, guys. They definitely
Is fighting for wins anymore. She's fighting for the physical safety of her roster. This has given rise to a theory that is spreading through the fan base like wildfire. Does the WNBA actually hate the Indiana Fever organization? It sounds like a conspiracy, but when you look at the data, the narrative starts to take shape. The Fever have brought more eyes to the sport than perhaps any team in history, yet they often seem to be treated like an outsider or a threat to the established.
Right at the moment, she gets to the next play. She's going to keep getting better.
And then, guys, they reviewed the three. Like, the three was so clear as day that she made the three. Why even waste the time of the game in reviewing that three that Raven made? I'm telling y'all, I believe the WNBA hate the Indiana Fever organization. And one theory that I got is that they probably hate them because they think that they're bigger than the W.
Steph, I know you say you don't have an update on Caitlin, but when it comes to her back, how careful do you all have to be moving forward? And if she has to miss time, how does your team have to adjust?
I think we got to be careful. No.
Hierarchy. There is a sense that the league's old guard is uncomfortable with how quickly things are changing, and the result is a product on the floor that feels biased. Whether it's the scheduling, the officiating, or the lack of protection for their star, the evidence is mounting that the Fever are playing against more than just their opponents on the court. While the officiating is the main talking point, there's a much more spooky concern looming over Indianapolis right now. Caitlin Clark has been dealing with a back issue that seems to be getting worse with every game. In recent clips, she can be seen grimacing and struggling to find her usual rhythm. The league is in a precarious position here. They need her on the floor for the ratings and the sellout crowds, but at what cost? If she is being subjected to cheap shots and aggressive physical play while already nursing an injury, the risk of a long-term setback is massive. The silence from the organization regarding the specifics of her health is only making the fans more anxious. Amidst all the drama and the questionable calls, there was a small glimmer of hope in the performance of Raven Johnson. When she stepped in to run the point, she showed a level of fearlessness that the team desperately needed. She hit big shots and played with a pace that suggests she's ready for the professional stage. However, even her moments of brilliance were overshadowed by the referee's need to review almost every successful play she made. It felt like the flow of the game was being intentionally disrupted, preventing the Fever from ever finding their burn or building any real momentum. So, where does the league go from here? We are at a crossroads where the popularity of the sport is at an all-time high, but the credibility of the product is being tested. You can only have so many accidental, fist to the throat or missed landing spot calls before the audience begins to tune out of pure frustration. The fans aren't asking for special treatment for the Fever. They are simply asking for the rules to be the same for everyone. If the WNBA wants to maintain this new level of success, they have to address the Refgate scandal before it defines the entire season. The players are doing their part, the coaches are speaking their truth, and the fans are filling the arenas. Now, it's up to the league office to decide if they want to protect their future or keep clinging to a past that is rapidly disappearing. What happened 2 nights ago wasn't just a bad game for the refs. It was a wake-up call for the entire sport. And as the Fever head into their next matchup, everyone will be watching to see if the whistle finally stays fair, or if this spooky trend in Indianapolis is just getting started. One thing is for sure, the world is watching, and they aren't going to stay silent about what they see on that court.